Hi everyone.
Hi there.
Thank you so much for taking the time to review our proposal. We are Azucena Ortiz and
Jorge Rivera.
we are the co-directors of the Healing and Justice Center. Today we're really excited to present our proposed project, Healing Horizons, Nurturing Community Resilience, which we believe will significantly benefit the coalition as well as the community. We are truly sorry we could not be there in person to share this wonderful event with you all. We are preparing for our spring healing event today, which you're more than welcome to join us from 6 to 8 tonight if you want to come on over after this meeting.
We'd like to start by introducing ourselves. As you know, I'm Jorge Rivera and this is Azucena Ortiz, and together we are the co-directors of the Healing and Justice Center. The Healing and Justice Center is a worker self-directed nonprofit organization that is dedicated to empowering our community through healing, support, and advocacy. I personally have come to this work because I come from a family that was riddled with violence and a lot of alcoholism and abuse and things of that nature. And when I was in my mid-20s, I realized that I needed to start to do my own healing. And while I started to do this healing work for myself, I actually started to get into community organizing and working in the community. But when I was doing that work, I noticed how heavy it was emotionally and how people all around me, the community members as well as the staff, were getting burnt out because it's just really taxing stuff. And so I was doing fine and I felt really strong, and I attribute all of that to the healing practices that I was doing. And so I started to think about how we can combine healing and wellness with the work that we do so that we're not burning ourselves out, and we're also teaching the community the skills necessary so that they can heal and build better relationships. So that's why I'm here and that's why I do what I do. So I'll pass it over to Azucena to talk a little bit more about herself.
Yeah. So I immigrated to this country when I was about 5 years old. I had been separated from my parents, and when I got here, my parents were really struggling to figure things out. I experienced violence in all different kinds of categories, traumatic experiences in different categories. And by the time I was 16, I became a mom. By the time I was 20, I had my second child. And I noticed a lot of the same patterns were starting to repeat, right, with my own children. And I wanted to break the cycle of violence. And I found a nonprofit organization, a community-based organization that was offering parenting classes, right, how to raise children with nonviolence. And I began participating. Soon enough, I wanted to be part of it, so I worked for them and began offering these classes, right? And what I learned by facilitating these parenting classes was that in order for me to break the cycle of violence, I actually needed to heal. The biggest component of changing the way that I was going to raise my children and breaking the cycle of violence was to heal myself, right? So that I can raise them differently than how I was raised. And that's how my practice got started. As I grew in the organization, I began facilitating trauma-informed workshops, learning more about how trauma impacts us as a community and systemically. And also similar to what I started noticing as I was going into different organizations to provide the parenting classes or professional trainings, that advocates were actually also getting burnt out and struggling to communicate effectively or communicate in a way that sustain them, right, and sustain relationships. And so I started noticing how often we go into being advocates without doing the healing work ourselves, because there's not an opportunity, because it is not offered, right? And or we are left to do our well-being practices on our own time, right? And so I've really been working on thinking about collective well-being and thinking about healing as a collective practice that not only involves personal self-care, which is crucial, but it also includes the continuing unlearning and relearning of practices that supports the connections amongst each other.
Yeah, so that's why we developed the Healing and Justice Center, because we saw that a lot of the advocates and the folks like you all that are actually doing the work aren't actually receiving the skills and the practices that are necessary so that you can sustain the work. So we really believe in working with the staff and the advocates as well as with the community, because we all have to start doing this work together. And this is what the project is that we're proposing is set out to do. It's to be able to impart onto you as well as the community the practical skills and knowledge so that you can apply all of this trauma-informed information and education that you've received up to this point. So as I mentioned, the Healing and Justice Center is committed to fostering supportive and resilient communities. It is our mission to create safe, healing, and connected spaces for individuals and families and community. We achieve this through a variety of programs, including trauma-informed parenting classes, workshops designed to attune to yourself, communicate better with one another, how to address conflicts regeneratively, and we also engage in community advocacy initiatives with tenants' rights, affordable housing, and digital equity, because we believe we cannot have true justice without healing, and we cannot have true healing without justice.
We have seen profound impact in the lives of people and their communities they're part of. Through our programs, we have seen significant improvements in relationships, increased resilience, better coping and self-regulation skills, and stronger community ties. We have facilitated numerous successful events and workshops fostering a sense of wellness, unity, support among attendees. Our advocacy work has supported numerous policy changes on the local and state levels as well. The truth is that I have been told some of our well-being events or workshops have supported people deal with chronic pain, right? They've reported back saying like, oh, my chronic pain has been relieved. I've had a parent who attended our parenting class by herself say, actually, this not only helped me improve my relationship with my child, it saved my marriage. By her unlearning the way she had been taught to communicate and implemented some of the communication practices that we shared in our workshops, right? And there's been so much, I could go on and on with different stories of different people that have benefited from our workshops.
So now let's dive into our proposed project. The title, Healing Horizons, Nurturing Community Resilience. This one-day event is designed to provide the practical skills so that you can put into practice trauma-informed practices, have personal growth, and community well-being. Our objectives are to equip participants with the tools for self-regulation, nonviolent communication, self-reflection, and all the essential things for healing and resilience. This is not just information that we're going to lecture you on, but there are going to be activities to help you learn the actual skills of putting into practice nonviolent communication, self-regulation, and community well-being. And that's the difference with this event.
So what sets our event apart are the hands-on activities and direct services we offer, or direct services from practitioners that we offer, right? So participants can engage in activities like massage, acupuncture, and sound baths, all aimed to promote holistic well-being. Additionally, we will facilitate a community art piece, allowing attendees to express their perspectives on healing and resilience. Our event is inclusive with interpretation services, child-friendly spaces, and accessible environments, ensuring that everyone can truly participate. And the idea is to bring everything together, right? Oftentimes when we learn about trauma-informed practices, we're just learning, taking it in, right? And then we're supposed to go practice it somewhere else. Here, we want to learn, practice, and also receive and participate in well-being in the day of.
Our event is structured to provide a comprehensive and enriching experience. It will include like a keynote address in the beginning. We're gonna have 2 full workshop sessions. We'll invite everybody to have resource tables, and we're gonna have healing services. Participants will have the opportunity to network, enjoy live performances, and contribute to the art project as well. And by the end of the day, we hope that attendees will leave with practical skills that they can actually start to implement, have new connections, and a new sense of community empowerment.
Throughout the event, there will be numerous engagement opportunities. During the midday break, participants can explore resource tables, receive healing services, and network with others. We'll have some music, possibly some live performances. We'll see depending on what we can get. And then we will make it not just an educational, but also a really enjoyable and connecting, rejuvenating space.
Our project aligns very closely with the CAP priorities to reduce violence and trauma while promoting community peace and healing. By providing trauma-informed workshops and healing services, we address the root causes of violence and trauma. Our interactive and collaborative approach fosters community engagement, knowledge sharing, and empowerment. And our workshops, they involve a lot of activities, and a lot of self-reflection and a lot of your thinking through your own past and your own upbringing and all the things that you're going to need to relearn. And it'll give you practical steps and practical skills that you can start to put into practice on a daily, so that you yourself are making sure that you're sustaining yourself, you're regulating yourself, you're keeping up with the energy levels that you need in order to do your jobs, and also to be able to engage and help community learn the skills as well. So the more you learn and the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to pass on to others in the work that you do in the communities that you serve.
And so now, logistics, right? Budget. So we're going to give you a brief overview of our budget. We're requesting $10,000 to cover venue rental, speaker stipends, interpretation services, food and refreshments, art supplies, and the cost that it takes to coordinate, right? This budget is thoughtfully allocated to ensure a successful and impactful event, with a contingency fund set aside for unforeseen expenses, which with events always tends to happen.
So as you know, if you've all put on events before, a month's time frame is tight, but it is feasible given what we're planning to do and given our experience in doing it. So we plan to start preparations immediately in June, on June 1st, and we hope that the event is going to take place at the end of June. We're thinking maybe a Tuesday during the week or a Saturday, depending on what people feel is best. And then soon after that, we'll take the time necessary to be able to put together the report that is required as per the project proposal, so that we can report back on the success of the event and the community that we've actually reached out to.
In closing, we are deeply committed to fostering healing and resilience within our communities. Healing Horizons is more than an event, it's a step towards a healthier, more connected community. We appreciate your consideration and look forward to the opportunity to make this vision a reality. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your time and support.
So if you have any further questions, feel free to contact us directly. This is some of our contact information and how to find us on social media. So if you want to check out some of the things that we've done in the past, we want to thank you so much for your time and your consideration. We know that we weren't able to be there in person, but we truly appreciate the opportunity to just submit this application and to put on this event for you all. We, I think, are hopefully going to be making ourselves available via Zoom to be able to answer any questions that you have if we can make all of that work. So thank you once again.